Hi, I'm Jennifer.
I'm Gregory.
I'm Sahi.
I'm Priya.
I'm Jennifer. I'm Anna.
I'm Gurjeet. We're the class 2017, group 10. We're going to be talking about systemic oxygen circulation, how the gas exchange actually happens, and some of the disorders such, which are like a main class. It's called hypoxia.
Enjoy.
Today we're going to be talking about systemic gas exchange. So this is a gas exchange that actually occurs at the tissue and the red blood cell level. So obviously there's a couple factors that are important at this point to the gas exchange can happen. One is pressure. There has to be some sort of pressure between the gradient so that the substance can move back and forth. For example, at the tissue, when the red blood gets to the tissue, is usually high concentration of CO2 compared to red blood cell where it's a low level of CO2 concentration. But there's a high level concentration of O2 because when the blood cell actually gets to the tissue, it's most likely fully saturated. So which means about 4 oxygen molecules per red blood cell. And at the same time, there's a low level of oxygen at the tissue level. So there is a pressure gradient, so the things can move back and forth. So once we have oxygen, so there's 2 steps that's what's going to happen. First step is CO2 is actually going to load onto the red blood cell, so that's the loading process. And then O2 is going to unload from the red blood cell through the tissue membrane into the tissue to oxygenate the tissue. So first step of this process is actually the movement of CO2 across the membrane into the red blood cell, where CO2 with water, with the help of an enzyme which is called carbonic anhydrase, CAH for short, which converts this into carbonic acid. So carbonic acid, which then will further dissociate into bicarbonate plus a proton. Now the proton is really important because this is what's going to help decrease the affinity of oxygen binding to the red blood cell. So once the concentration of this starts increasing, this is going to decrease the affinity of O2 binding onto the hemoglobin. So, which means the O2 will be easily dissociated from the red blood cell and will move across the red blood cell via the tissue membrane into the tissue to oxygenate the tissue. And this process is called unloading. So this is how a normal gas exchange, a systemic level gas exchange happens. But there are always abnormalities, such as the red blood cell not getting to the tissue, or the actual just issue with the oxygen not being able to come off, or CO2 not being able to load, which we will talk about further into this video about some of the dysfunctions.
Pharmacist by day.
Detective by night.
What happened here? Cyanosis, blueness of the skin. This is a sign of hypoxia. But what kind of hypoxia? Let's look around. Aha! Cyanide. Dun, dun, dun. This prevents oxygen from getting into the tissues. She probably died of suffocation. How sad.
Hi, Dr. Pharmacy. We have a question for you.
Sure, ask away.
Okay, we're planning to go hiking in Denver, Colorado, but we always hear things about high elevation. So, do you have any advice?
Can you tell us how this will affect us?
Sure. So usually something that people experience when they're at high altitudes is hypoxemic hypoxia. And basically it's due to inadequate pulmonary gas exchange. And what happens is it's basically due to high elevation. So what I would recommend to you is that you take your time. If you start feeling lightheaded or dizzy, I would probably stop, take a rest. If you can't continue, don't push yourself. But enjoy your trip overall.
Are there any other ways you can get this hypoxia?
Yeah, some other really extreme conditions, like when you're drowning, or if you aspired a foreign body, or if you have a respiratory arrest, or if you have some kind of degenerative lung disease.
Okay, I think we'll be okay then.
Thank you.
No problem. Enjoy your trip.
Oh, Dr. Pharmacy, I'm glad that I got to see you. Oh, this is the result from my doctor, but I'm still having a hard time with school. I feel tired and I lost so many weight and I don't have any appetite. So could you take a look and figure out what's going on with me?
Sure. Let me help you out. Let's see, interesting. Aha. It says here that you have low hemoglobin, which makes sense. You have low hemoglobin. Oxygen is not being distributed right throughout your body. So you feel tired. You've lost your appetite. You've lost weight. This is a sign of anemic hypoxia. But I would check with your doctor. So go see your doctor.
Yeah, I will definitely go to see my doctor because I don't think I can pass all the classes, and I feel like I gave up the school.
Yes, make sure you go see your doctor.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Dr. B, my medicine is ready.
Thank you.
Let me see what you got here. What's been going on? I haven't seen you in a long time.
Kids from the class of 2016.
Been getting to you? Been killing
Yeah,
you?
I ended up in the hospital.
Well, I see you had a heart attack. This medication is for ischemic hypoxia.
Oh, really? What is that?
Well, that just basically means your heart isn't getting enough oxygen circulated through your blood. So that could come from stress, different lifestyles, and a lot of mimosas. So we're gonna have to get that under control.
That sounds good. I just hope I have a better class next year.
Yeah, don't let those 2016 kids get to you too bad.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so today I'm just gonna help you guys kind of summarize what we talked about in our video. First, like always, we gotta understand the normal before we can understand abnormal. So the normal process, we just gotta understand that there is gas exchange, unloading of loading of CO2 and unloading of O2 at tissue level, and it's the other way around at the pulmonary. So obviously, certain things that are very important are partial pressures, like we talked about earlier in the video. That the partial pressure is important because if there's no partial pressure, there is no gradient, and the oxygen and the CO2 is not going to move. And also, remember, proton is very important because that's what will help, when it dissociates, will help decrease the binding affinity of O2, which will then leave the red blood cell. So once we understand how normal respiration occurs, then there are some abnormal, some issues with that. And the general term is used as hypoxia. And it can be ischemic hypoxia, which is inadequate pulmonary gas exchange, which means that there's not enough either oxygen at that stage, at the lung stage, which can be exchanged to the red blood cells. For example, at high altitude, the concentration of O2 is so low that you need to breathe in a lot more, or you need to increase a higher concentration of O2 of red blood cell production. There's ischemic hypoxia, which is inadequate circulation in the blood, which means the blood is not circulating to the certain regions, which is leading to ischemic hypoxia. Then there's anemic hypoxia, which is inability of the blood to actually carry adequate amount of oxygen. So there's the issue with the red blood cells, which carry blood cells. which carry oxygen, apologize. And then histotoxic hypoxia is when the tissue prevents a tissue from using O2 that's delivered to them. So those are some of the some of the disorders which the general term we use hypoxia.